listeners and spectators, so let's groove with the smooth operator. Just sound so smooth. Just sound so smooth.
Hey, good people, it's 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Really not our normal time for the show, the Hour of Power. But as you know, we've been rocking and rolling, dealing with this situation coming out of Dallas, Texas, the shooting of Mr. Botham Jean, the St. Lucian transplanted here to the United States, living in Dallas, Texas, who was shot unceremoniously by someone who we now know to be named Guyger, Amber Guyger or Guyger. And this was such a fast developing case and matter that we had to bring you an emergency broadcast of the show, The Hour of Power, because this was simply that important, okay? The issues and the concerns of this case are such that we couldn't afford to let another week go by before we started bringing you the information that you need. And as you know, this is your Hour of Power, where issues and concerns and your voices count, where things that are of concern to our community are discussed. And this case right now is the most recent issue that we're talking about. We spent yesterday's broadcast talking about it, and we have a emergency situation to talk about it today. In addition, good people, I have a special guest that's going to be joining us, my brother at the bar, Attorney S. Lee Merritt, or someone from his office will be calling in from Dallas, Texas. That office, that law firm, that brother lawyer is representing the family in this case. He's representing Botham Jean's family. So we're going to get it right from the horse's mouth. I understand that there's a meeting scheduled for this morning at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in Dallas with the district attorney's office. So Brother Merritt may not be able to stay with us long, but I promise you, he or someone from his office will be calling in, giving us here at your show, The Hour of Power, hosted by your main made man, the host with the most, with the master plan in the palm of my hand, all the 411 on what's going on with the Botham Jean investigation. The killing of Botham Jean continues today, right here on your program. Okay, as you know, I'm Attorney Stephen G. James, and we've had some developments in this case. There has been speculation by you, my most loyal and astute and best listeners on the planet, those who follow the Hour of Power, which is broadcast in over 178 countries worldwide, internationally. And this is the international conversation about issues and topics and concerns to you. And you get it here raw because that's what you asked for, not that watered down, shake and bake that these other broadcasts and other networks try to give you, but we give it to you real, and we bring the real people to you to tell it like it is, okay? Not like we want it to be, not like necessarily it should be, but we tell it like it T.I. is, okay? So your main made man is here, dropping science as always. Guilty, Your Honor, okay? This case has taken a lot of twists and turns since we last met just yesterday. We normally don't broadcast on Sundays, but here we are on a Sunday morning, broadcasting high atop New York City from the penthouse, no less. Why? Because that's how important this story is. This too could have been you. It could have been your loved ones. Like I told you yesterday, this is your attorney at law, your attorney at war. That's right. A 5-star general in the war for truth, justice, liberty, and fairness. That's an ongoing battle, good people. And this is your 5-star general, Attorney Stephen G. James, attorney at war, giving it to you, because there is certainly something afoot where a man could be in his apartment minding his own business after a long day at work himself, and someone is fingering at his doorway. He opens the door to see what the what is and ends up dead. Does that make any sense to you? And you good people were so astute yesterday, coming up with all kinds of different ideas. Some of you even said she knew him. There was something more to the story. Well, lo and behold, yes, indeed, we're starting to hear more and more as the day and time wears on. And since yesterday, We've heard a lot of new developments. And I even told you, good people, and this you heard nowhere else. When that chief of police in Dallas, Texas, I believe her name is Chief Lee, who has the confidence of the mayor still for some reason. Well, she didn't have my confidence. When she told us that this killer, who is armed, was on the loose, let loose by the police at the scene. And at the time of the press conference, the Chief Lee did not know where this lady was at, who we later learned is named Amber Guyger, Guyger, Amber Guyger. She did not know where this Amber Guyger patrol officer was at. Now, this person is an armed person who had just killed somebody, and she was allowed to walk away from the scene of the death, of the shooting, of the crime. I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind that there was a crime committed. It's just a matter of investigating to see to what level the charges should be. But there's no question that there was a criminal act. So even Chief Lee, the chief of police, that black woman who gave that press conference yesterday, and I played some before you yesterday, and I'll play again some more today, she said that they were looking to swear out an arrest warrant, and that she wanted to bring in or had brought in the Texas Rangers, who, thanks to Angie Robinson, we now know is a separate but equally law enforcement agency that primarily comes in under certain circumstances or things that concern the entire state. They're state investigators, a state policing agency, I should say, with arrest powers like any other local police. And she is the Dallas County chief of police. So she wanted to bring in an independent, also the county that this shooter worked for or works for. We haven't heard that she's been terminated yet. But the point is that the chief wanted to bring in the outside agency, law enforcement agency, to investigate this case so there could be complete transparency, hands off by the local police, by the colleagues who work with this lady, by the best trained detective in the business, as she said, and I quote the chief, and also the same police department that let this woman walk away from the scene of the shooting, to the point where the chief actually told you and me and the world in a press conference that she didn't even know where this lady was at the time of the press conference. Now, good people, I tell you, and I told you that yesterday, and I'll tell you today, either the chief is lying or was lying, or she's so incompetent and is running such an incompetent police department that she should be fired. Take your pick, chief. And I said that to her yesterday, and I laid that challenge at her doorstep. Well, lo and behold, good people, we find out today, maybe she's incompetent. I don't know, yes or no, but we do know, in fact, she was lying. That, in fact, the chief knew at the time she said she did not know where this person was at, that this Amber Guyger killer of Mr. Botham Jean was, in fact, speaking with and in the custody of the Texas Rangers and their investigators who had arrived in Dallas, Texas, and were investigating her. In fact, she was with them all day. But then we later learned that those same Texas Rangers let this lady go without any charges so far. Now, if that doesn't shake your confidence, I don't know what will. That the outside statewide investigatory agency, policing department, came in, interviewed this killer, and she's still walking free with no charges. Now, this shooting occurred on the 6th, the evening of the 6th of September. Okay? What's today's date? One day before 9/11, right? Today's 9/10, September 10th. So this is 4 days ago. Since Wednesday night, she has killed this young man. He's well, maybe not underground yet, but he's certainly dead for sure. His poor mother held a very emotional, grief-stricken, sad, very emotion-laden, but very articulate press conference the other day. And, she only wants justice and fairness and equality under the law. Well, so far that's not been gotten. So we're going to have, for your listening edification and to answer some of your questions and mine, the attorney and his office who is representing the family, the mother and the family of Botham Jean, the murdered or the killed person, the victim in this case. His name is S. Lee Merritt. He is an esteemed colleague at the bar of mine, a brother attorney in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and he'll be joining us later on in the broadcast to answer some of your questions and mine, okay? So we're going to get the inside poop today from what's happening in this case. But in the meantime, and in between time, good people, and I put some of this information out for you to see, I think there have been some, well, let me just tell you a post that I wrote. Looks like somebody has to be answering some questions soon. It's starting to look like the brother lost his life due to a crime of passion, not racism, somebody wrote. Shanique Watson writes that. And it says something about footage of Amber Guyger frantically calling in the shooting. She called 911 shortly after she killed this young man. Well, after she shot him, he died later in the hospital. But shortly after she shot him. Here's some of that footage, good people. That's her pacing back and forth in the live feed. Now that was some footage of Amber Guyger pacing back and forth after the shooting of this young man, shortly after the police arrived on scene. And then we have some further footage of her as well. Take a listen. Now, Now that was footage of the young man being taken away from the scene of the shooting by paramedics and apparently rushed to the hospital where he later died. Now, if you notice, we have some other photographs that have been since discovered and posted of the young man. This is Botham Jean, who is a St. Lucian who was living in Dallas, Texas, gainfully employed, according to relatives and friends, very well liked, very well respected, very active in the community, a positive brother who was just about helping people. He was liked by many, a good friend, a practical joker. And then there's this picture. I'll get to this picture in a moment. But do you recognize anybody other than Botham Jean in there? Take a good look. Tell me if you recognize anyone other than Botham Jean. Botham Jean, I'll give you a hint, is the person with the light powder blue shirt. Recognize anyone other than that? There you go. That's our lovely killer in this case, Andrea Guyger. And I'll read you the caption. The caption says, I called her Chief Lee. I apologize. The chief's name is Chief Hall. Lee is my brother who's going to be joining us, who's the attorney representing the family. So I'm getting a call in right now from the office of the attorney. Let me just respond to them. They want me to call in. The attorney's heading to his meeting with the prosecutor. So I'm just going to let them know. I'll call momentarily. He's in his car driving. This is live, folks, so you know you have these live issues that come up, but I think you can appreciate it. I'll let them know we'll be patching into them in about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm stating they're apologizing for texting me and asking me to call in, which, as you good people know, is not a problem. I'll call them in 5 minutes. Let me just finish my point. I called her Chief Hall. Chief Lee. Her name is Chief Hall, and Lee is the first name of the brother who's representing the family, who I will be calling and bringing on air with you shortly. Chief Hall has confirmed, however, in this case, if I may read the above caption information, and the circled face is that of Amber Guyger, spelled Guyger, badge number 10207. Chief Hall has confirmed Texas Rangers have had Officer Amber Guyger, badge number 10702, in custody all day. This is yesterday, when Chief Hall was telling us she had no idea where Guyger was at. Texas Rangers released her moments ago. Officer Amber Guyger is the officer responsible for killing Botham Jean. She is pictured in the photo with the victim. She knew him well, says the caption. The extent of their relationship is currently under investigation. Can you guys see that? And that's her circled in the picture with Botham Jean, Shem Jean. Looks like they're at some sort of social function or party or office party or something like that. And there is the caption that's above it, talking about their relationship, talking about the police action, and talking about Chief Hall's lies to the public. Here are some more pictures of the lovely killer in this case. Officer, although she was not acting in her capacity as an officer, she was off duty, and this had nothing to do with fighting crime or anything in furtherance of her duties as an officer. But her name is Amber Guyger, and these are some more social pictures. Now, if you notice, there she is again with some fella with red hair and a red mustache and red beard. That becomes significant in a moment. But there's Andrea in the middle of a young lady and the fellow with the red facial hair. There she is again with that same fellow. There she is again in the same outfit and sunglasses that she has in the other photographed with Botham Jean. And there she is to the right of that, I guess in some sort of outing socially herself. But if you notice, the up close picture is her in the same outfit and sunglasses that she has in the other picture in which she circled with Botham Jean. A few other pictures of Botham at work. He was an analyst for I think it was Price Waterhouse investment banking firm. Brother was gainfully employed, doing what he does, making his family and friends proud. There he is again.
The officer was on the wrong floor at the wrong apartment. She was at the door to Botham Jean's home. When the door opened, the police officer, who is white, saw the 26-year-old standing there. It's unclear what happened next or how long it took before that officer pulled her gun and fired. She then called 911. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Jean, an active church member and risk assurance associate at Price Waterhouse Coopers, shot dead.
The explanation does not make sense.
His mother tonight.
If he was a white man in that apartment, would it have been different? Would she have reacted differently? Why is it because he was a black man that she had to act in that way?
We want to be, and we will be, as transparent in this investigation as we can be.
Well, Chief,
She took away my heart.
you started off,
She
Chief
took away
Hall, by
my
telling us
soul.
lies, like you didn't know where she was at when you knew all along
She took away-
that she was being questioned by the Texas Rangers. Not a good way to start a relationship, Chief. And I called you out on it and caught you because it made no sense. So, good people, you know how we do it. We give it to you raw because that's what you asked for. We don't sugarcoat anything. We let you know the facts and the truth, and we try to bring it to you from the horse's mouth. So what I'm going to do now, without further delay, is try and bring in the attorney for the family who's representing Botham Jean's family in this case. So let's see if we can get them on the line. Bear with me. Bear with me, good people. Just trying to pull up their number so that we can get this conversation going for you. Good people, can you hear me? Let me know. I want you in on this conversation. Calling Attorney Lee Merritt now.
Thank you for calling the Merritt Law Firm. For legal services, press 1. In order to arrange a speaking engagement, press 2. Thank you for calling the Merritt Law Firm. For legal services, press 1. In order to arrange a speaking engagement, press 2. Hi, you've reached the personal assistant.
Okay, let's try it again. They just texted me. Let's see.
Fort Worth, Starkville Brown.
Okay, I'll try one more time.
This is Marcia.
Hi, Marcia. This is Attorney Stephen James calling you live from New York City on the air. I tried the number you gave me. It goes to voicemail twice in a row. I cannot seem to pick up Attorney Merritt. Can you have him call me, please? Because I can't. Thank you.
I apologize. Our office number went straight to voicemail?
Yes. Each time I called, and the audience is wondering what's going on. I tried it twice, and first time it went to voicemail after 2 rings, and the second time immediately.
And it's saying our law firm number. I mean, it's answering Merritt Law?
Yeah, and it says press 1 for speaking engagements or 2 for speaking engagements, 1 for services, something like that. Does that sound familiar?
Okay. He had me wanting you to call his cell number directly.
Was that? Yeah, because I'm getting the law office.
Yes, he just said that. He just texted me. Would you like to do that, or would you like for me to connect you?
I'd like you to connect me at this point.
Just one moment.
Thank you, Marcia.
You're welcome.
This is Marcia from the law firm of Esley Merritt. She's putting us through now, patching us through to the attorney representing the family of Botham Jean, Lee Merritt. Sometimes, good people, when you have a live broadcast, there are delays that occur, especially when you're bringing in live guests. But this case is so meritorious of the esteemed attorney's presence that we think is worth it. We want to give you the information correctly. There's been too much speculation already in a case that's so new and so young in its early stages of investigation that I did not want you to continue to have fed to you misinformation. So we wanted to bring in Attorney Merritt to clarify some of the facts and circumstances of this case. Marcia, are you there?
Esquire James.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Merritt is off the line for you now.
Oh, thank you very much. Good people, we have Attorney Esley Merritt on the line calling us directly from Dallas, Texas. Attorney Merritt, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I am Stephen James, wanted to bring you in on our broadcast, which is the Hour of Power, a broadcast that we normally broadcast on Saturdays at 12 noon from here in New York City. We are heard in over 178 countries every week. However, and of course around the United States and Canada, but we were discussing your case yesterday, and it garnered such a great response from our audience, and also such outrage from the community at large that, and of course, there's been numerous developments since yesterday. There's been a lot of wild speculation, some of them based on facts and some of them absolutely out of whole cloth. So we wanted to get you in here today and thank you in advance for taking your time, because I know you have a big important meeting with the Dallas County District Attorney's Office regarding this matter. but I definitely wanted our listeners and our audience to know from you directly whatever you can share with us about the case and what it's looking like. People have speculated that this person, Amber Guyger, was who killed Mr. Jean, was known to him. Some people say she was not known to him. So we really like, if you can, some clarification on what's going on in the case and where it stands now.
Unfortunately, I can't provide a great deal of clarification because this investigation has not been particularly transparent. I know that as of now, they have more than enough evidence for probable cause that a crime has been committed, and because of that, an arrest should have been made. This woman should be secured under at least a bond, and that's what we've come to expect when a crime is committed in a jurisdiction. We believe that hasn't happened yet because of a bias in favor of law enforcement officers. We think that the people who are investigating this are going out of their way to protect this officer. There is a lot of questions, and unfortunately a lot more questions than answers for this family. Hopefully when I speak with the district attorney today, we can get more clarity as to the facts, but we know from what the Rangers have told us and what the chief of police told us as she starts to prepare her.
That would be Chief Hall, correct? Chief Hall, who gave the press conference yesterday. Okay.
Right. From what Chief Hall believed when she started to prepare an arrest warrant for manslaughter, that there is evidence sufficient for an arrest. And this family is bothered by the fact that this woman has not yet been taken into custody.
Do you know, Attorney Merritt, if she's still in possession of her weapon or still employed by the police department, still collecting a paycheck, still,
She is employed. I don't know the status for a weapon. Typically, when you use your service weapon in a police-involved shooting, they will confiscate your weapon immediately, but they will replace it with another one. They're confiscating it as evidence, but then you're given another weapon. But she is still a part of the Dallas Police Department, and she's on paid administrative leave.
as of this conversation?
As of this conversation, correct.
Now, let me just backtrack a little bit, because you said a number of things that were extremely interesting, some of which I covered as an attorney just in general, in terms of how law works, but specifically to this case. You said that in Dallas, if there's a police-involved shooting, meaning an officer in pursuit of their, in furtherance of their job as a police officer, they may confiscate the weapon if it's used as evidence in the case and give them another revolver, another weapon in replace of that so that they can continue in their duties as a police officer. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm only going by reports and news reports. I know from doing these type of cases myself for so many years, you cannot rely on all of what you read in the newspaper. That's one of the reasons why we're so grateful to have you on the show, The Hour of Power, today. But my understanding is that this was not an officer-involved shooting. In fact, I believe Chief Hall made that distinction when she said they began their investigation, typically thinking it was an officer-involved shooting. But once they got more facts, they realized this was something of a deviation from that standard, that this person, this Amber Guyger person, was actually not doing anything in furtherance of her job as a police officer, that this was basically off duty, had nothing to do with police work, and a so-called accidental encounter.
So I think that the reason that Chief Hall and others are saying that is to insulate the city from liability. The fact is, under the law in Dallas County and under federal law for people operating under the color of law, it's not just when she clocked out, because she did clock out of work earlier that day. She was not performing her duty when she went to the home of Brother Jean. The issue is she was still donning her uniform. The likelihood is, and this is speculative at best, that if Botham opened the door to hers because she was standing there in her uniform, and she shot him with her service weapon. And so this is her returning home. Before she could get home, she still was holding herself out in the public as somebody operating under the color of authority. So if you see her in her uniform, you still give her the deference of a law enforcement officer. And so because of that, the this case is about as close to the line as you get, because once she crosses the threshold to her door, she's now off duty. You know, she's probably going to take that uniform off, but she never made it there. She made it to the wrong door, allegedly.
Allegedly wrong door, right? Because there's been some speculation that they may have actually known each other. Do you have any information regarding that?
I know the picture that's circulating on the internet of both of them and three Caucasian women, none of which is Amber Guyger.
Okay.
And so that's, if that is what people are relying on to establish the relationship, then that is misinformation. However, the family has no directly below both of them. She lived in an apartment directly below him. She's been there, to my understanding, for the last 2 months. There's a potential for a relationship just based on that. If you ever lived in tight apartment quarters, the person who lives below you is typically annoyed when you have friends over and you're making noise, things like that. So
right.
We're speaking with the apartment complex, etc. So maybe there's history there, but the rumor circulating on the internet that someone's dating or that this picture shows the two of them together is just not accurate.
Thank you for clearing that up, because there are pictures on the internet, and as I indicated at the top of our discussion, Attorney Merritt, there's been wild speculation, some of which is based on whole cloth, some of which is based on internet gossip, most of which people don't know, because Mr. Botham Jean clearly was a productive, gainfully employed, active person. He wasn't someone who was lingering around the corners and being known in general to the community. So he traveled in private circles. So I think a lot of what we are seeing on the internet would be wild speculation and people putting forth things that kind of support their theory of the case. One of the things that I noticed, and I said to my listeners on yesterday, when people put forth that proposition that maybe this was a lover's situation, or, they were breaking up and she couldn't take it, or whatever the speculation was that, well, then why didn't his sister nor his mom know this woman? Because they clearly did not. So that, was my way of kind of diffusing some of the wild speculation that there was a relationship there, because if there were a relationship, it certainly was a secret and a mystery to his family, who appeared to be very close to him.
Both of them didn't do anything in secret. That's what his mom and his sister let us know directly.
Right.
Everyone that he was dating or even considering dating, we've discussed.
Okay.
She just wasn't one of them. And so he had a very, very close relationship with his mom. He had talked to his sister that day all the way up to the point where he got to his garage. This was one of the first days that he was able to go home early because he wanted to get home ahead of the rain. And so you're right to say that mom and sister would know about it because they know and have regular contact with both of them on a daily basis.
Wow. Thank you very much for confirming and verifying that. Well, so you're meeting with the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. What are some of your hopes and expectations that come out of the meeting?
Well, the Dallas District Attorney has the authority and the imperative to issue an arrest warrant. This family, again, is just very bothered by the fact that someone known to the Dallas policing community could kill their son, their brother, and walk free. And so that is a primary objective in meeting with the district attorney, to urge her to issue an arrest warrant based on the information that she has. We don't want her to complete her investigation. We want her to go through a thorough and complete investigation before anything is presented to a grand jury or before charges
are filed formally.
Filed formally. However, the precursory step is to issue an arrest warrant.
Right.
And then then the family has questions. They actually want to know what the district attorney knows. That information doesn't necessarily need to be in the public domain if it would corrupt their investigation somehow. But the family does have a right to know.
Absolutely. Now let me ask you this. Chief Hall, in her press conference, although it was short, it was very informative, especially for those of us in the legal community, lawyers and the like. And I heard her say that she wanted complete transparency and that she was treating this potential defendant, and I only say potential because she hasn't been arrested or charged with anything yet, even though 2 police agencies had access to her within days of the shooting, both the Rangers as well as initially on the scene, her own colleagues at the Dallas Police Department, Dallas County Police, and both of whom apparently have let her go uncharged, unarrested. Do you think that this is another thing that Chief Hall said was that this potential defendant was being treated not unlike any other defendant in a case like this? Do you see that to be the case? I mean, and you're talking to people around the world, so we're not all familiar with the specifics of how Dallas County normally works. So can you speak to that issue, specifically to Dallas, if this is a typical case?
No, that's absolutely absurd. In any case where someone walks into someone else's home and blows them away, and says, "Oops, I made a mistake," that person is arrested. This is not how you typically treat someone. And for them to sell that lie to the community is offensive to our common sense. We know that had the situation been reversed, and for whatever reason, both of them found themselves at Amber's home and used a gun to blow her away, he would not have made it home that night.
Or probably even to jail that night.
Right.
Okay, because I don't know what's going on in terms of the local Dallas situation, but here in New York, any situation in reverse, he would have ended up like Trayvon Martin, most likely, who's in Florida.
Exactly.
You know?
And then I know that this investigation is moving forward, affording this defendant or the suspect with a great deal of latitude. They believe whatever she's telling them, and that bothers me. I'm used to my prosecutors being suspicious, even when we're telling the truth. When the community is telling the truth, they second guess it. They're turning over every stone. And I don't get that feeling when speaking with law enforcement as they investigate this case. I get that it's a strange case. If the facts are what the prevailing narrative tends to be, it's a very, very strange case. But the level of aggressiveness from the law enforcement community has been lacking.
Yes, aggressiveness in terms of investigating and leading to some charges against this killer. Yeah.
Brother James, I thank you for having me on the show. I have to take off now, but I'll be happy to continue to speak with your community, and we appreciate your support.
Oh, absolutely. You have our support 100%. If we at the law firm of Stephen G. James can be of any services or assistance to you in this and any other matter, of course, feel free to reach out to us and let us know. We will be there for you. We appreciate your time, Attorney Merritt, in joining our broadcast today, letting our listeners know what's going on, getting the inside story, and hopefully dispelling some of the speculation, wild as it may be, that may be out there, and also putting some light to some of these photographs that are circulating on the internet. So thank you for your time. Very, very good luck and success with your meeting today. And please come back and let us know the next steps in the process, if you'll be asking for a special prosecutor, et cetera, to be named, depending on how that shapes up with the meeting. So please keep us informed, okay? And we'll make sure that the community knows and hears from you directly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Take care now. And tell Marsha we said we thank her as well.
You're most welcome.
Oh, you're there. Okay, well, thank you too. Appreciate you. The audience can hear you as well, Marsha. So we thank you for your services and making this interview happen. And as I said to Attorney Merritt, I wish him all Godspeed in his meetings. I've been there many, 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 many times. And as he's indicated, he's accustomed to dealing with, prosecutors who are suspicious of defendants and their stories, especially when there's only one standing to tell the story. Mr. Botham Jean is not available to tell his side. So prosecutors tend to be very suspicious when they're only getting a lopsided story. And in this case, he's not getting that tenor, that temperature in the case, which leads us all to be very suspicious. So we want to thank you, Marsha, for allowing us the opportunity to speak with the attorney and have you both on the show. And anytime there's any need to address the community, feel free to reach out to us. Our audience is your audience. And anytime we have a question, we hope we're free to ask.
You are, most indeed you are, and we appreciate the coverage. Just we got to stick together.
Absolutely.
Together.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Like I tell my audience all the time, I am a 5-star general in the war for liberty and justice for all, including us.
That's it. That's what we've got to be. And we've got to stand vigilant. And that's our mission and our purpose. Thank you again. I appreciate your time, your audience's time, because we know that they could be doing just about anything, but to have them listen to us, listen to Mr. Merritt, his plight, our whole United States, the world is in turmoil right now. So
yes, ma'am.
We've got to do, it's on us.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Mr. Merritt say a lot of time, it's on us.
That's right.
We're gonna do our part, and we know you're doing yours, sir. So keep up your good work as well, and we will stay in touch. You are in our
circle.
So
in your circle. Okay, now. Thank you. God bless, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. God bless you now. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, good people. Well, whoop, there it is. Your main made man coming through for you in the clutch, clearing up some of the fog and some of the BS that's out there regarding this case. Now we know that according to all evidence, including directly from the mother and sister who are closest to Botham Jean, he didn't know this lady. So it was no lovers quarrel. It wasn't no situation where he was trying to break up with her and she couldn't handle it. Like I said yesterday, it could have been something as simple as what she said. You know, she went to the wrong place, saw a black man, feared for her life, of course, and killed him. And that's scary for everybody. I know it soothes the heart. It's a little easier on the mind and the soul if we can think that maybe this was something a little more rational or a little more personal than what she's telling. But no, it's just that plain and just that simple and just that easy for one of us to lose our lives. Somebody scratching at our door, drunk or high or both, or extremely tired, or whatever story she's telling, and you go to the door to see who it is, you open it, and boom, you're dead. And here we are almost 5 days later, and she's not even been charged with anything. And I know as an attorney, some of the things that Attorney Merritt was saying to us were some of the things that I echoed yesterday. He was echoing my sentiments from yesterday. And I'm not in the case. I'm not given any more information until now than what we had available through the press and the media. You know, Chief Hall, you know, what she was saying, lies. And he even pointed out some of the other lies that she said, in addition to the ones I pointed out. You know, this girl, this Amber Guyger is not being treated like a typical defendant. She's not being treated like a typical suspect. She still has her weapon. And we know that she committed a crime. Whether it's manslaughter, and we presented manslaughter and murder yesterday, thanks to Brandy, aka Pinky, and we know what the differences are, but we definitely know that Chief Hall claims she's trying to swear out an arrest warrant for manslaughter. Okay, swear out the arrest warrant. What's taking so long? What's the problem? Amber already told you she shot this guy. She went to his house, knocked on his door, killed him, then discovered her mistake. Where's the law enforcement confusion as to what, if a crime was committed or not? That's usually the only standard prior to an arrest. We're not saying, and you heard Attorney Merritt, the attorney for the family of Botham Jean, the victim in this case, the attorney for his mom and the attorney for his sister and the family, Attorney Merritt say, we're not expecting an indictment based on those charges. We expect an indictment after all the investigation is done. But good people, like I said to you many, many times, if you had committed the exact same crime under the exact same circumstances, you'd either be dead by now or at least in jail. Or both, dying in jail. So why is this different? And why are we being told this is an insult to your own integrity as a human being, your intelligence as a living, breathing adult person? It insults your intelligence when Chief Hall tells us that this Amber person is being treated like everyone else. She's not. She's being given the benefit of every single doubt, even though she admitted to committing at least manslaughter herself. She admitted it. If you believe her story, we have manslaughter. So, you know, why is she not arrested? Why does she still have a weapon? Why is she still getting paid? He says that she's on paid leave. Why? Why haven't the Texas Rangers arrested her? They're supposed to be independent of the Dallas County Police. But no, none of that has happened almost 5 days later. And then you have Attorney Merritt. He has to go and meet with the district attorney's office because they're not giving any information to the family. They're not telling the mom anything. You know, if any of you heard Mom's impassioned pleas for justice in her interview yesterday, it would bring tears to your eyes, you know, make your heart weak if you have a heart. But the district attorney's office is not even telling them anything, not answering their questions, not doing anything. So they have to go out and hire an attorney to go and get justice. Why is it that we always have to go out and spend money or hire some attorney, and then that attorney has to bust his or her behind for us just to get the same justice that the district attorney's office is supposed to give us automatically? Why do we have to have an attorney go talk to the district attorney who represents the people of that district? That's your attorney right there, the district attorney. No, all they want to do with us is arrest us and prosecute us and put us in jail? No, you're supposed to serve the people of that district. So they wouldn't have to hire a private attorney to represent their interests, because that's what the district attorney is there for. That's why you pay tax dollars. It's with your tax dollars that these people are paid. The district attorney, his assistants, or her assistant district attorneys, otherwise known as ADAs or deputy attorneys, the city prosecutors, the county attorneys, the judges, the police, even the Texas Rangers. All these folks are governmental employees paid for by your tax dollars, people. So why does Botham Jean's mom have to go out and get an attorney to try and get her some justice? Because these people are not talking to her? That makes no sense. If you've ever been a victim of a crime or arrested for a crime, you know that the district attorney's office is supposed to represent the complainant, the alleged victim of the crime. And in this case, it's not even an alleged victim. It's an actual victim. The man is dead, shot dead by Amber Guyger, and she admitted it. So what's the problem? But yet Chief Hall wants you to believe that this person is being treated like anybody else would, like you or I. Let's go see who's in the check-in, good people. I know we've given you a lot to think about today. So let's go right to the check-in and see what you have to say. I hope you folks can appreciate that I'm out there working harder to serve you better, and that your hour of power hosted by the most Stephen G. James is not something that is just a joke, that we try to give it to you raw because that's what you came here for. No fake, you know, no FAR, no $3 bills in our information. And if ever there's anything that's confusing or we're not sure about, I go and try to bring you the source, as you heard today from Attorney S. Lee Merritt. Sharon Key, her behavior clearly exhibits trigger thirsty. I agree. You know, one of the things that bothered me, Sharon and others, is that if she were mistaken, if it were the wrong apartment, as she's saying, and of course she's the only witness that survived the shooting to talk about it, if what she's saying is the truth, how many seconds does it take for even him, the victim, Botham Jean, to say, who are you? What are you doing in my apartment? Or what's going on? You see this uniformed young white girl in front of your door that she had been scratching at your door. You open the door. How long does it take for you to say, hey, what's going on here? What do you want? Who are you looking for? This is my apartment, or whatever, which should trigger something in her mind that maybe it's a mistake in the apartment. But no, he was shot dead probably before he could say anything. Even though this person didn't realize she got off on the wrong floor, didn't realize she went to the wrong numbered apartment, because there's been some video of the apartment hallway outside of his door and other doors on his floor. Each apartment has their own lighted number to the apartment. For example, if her apartment is 9B and she lives beneath him, he'd probably be 10B. So she should be able to see from the number on the door, which is lighted, that it's not her apartment. She didn't see that. He also had, and continues to have to this moment, a red a small carpet outside of his door, like a foot mat, a red foot mat. How do you miss that? Did you have that there outside your door, Amber, when you went to work prior to your shift? No. How do you miss that? So with all of this outside his door, before you even touched the door, you should have picked up that you were in the wrong floor. Then your key doesn't work. That doesn't give you a final hint that maybe you're in the wrong place, the wrong floor, the number on the door, the outside dressing, including the red, not black, not blue, but red, bright red foot mat. That doesn't give you a hint. Your key doesn't work. That doesn't give you a hint. And then someone else opens the door. And what do? You don't say, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm in the wrong spot. No, you kill the person, you put your hand on your weapon, draw the weapon, cock it, and pull the trigger. So yes, Sharon, trigger happy? That's almost an understatement, because how long did the man have to even try to let her know that she was making a mistake? Like, what are you doing here? Who are you? That should have triggered something in her head. And if he didn't even get a chance to say that, to trigger something to make her realize or think, cause for pause, maybe I'm in the wrong. Oh, yeah, this is not my house. I'm sorry. That didn't happen. He ends up dead just upon opening his own door. Presumably, she didn't have the gun out when he opened the door because she didn't know that she was in the wrong place, right? So presumably she's going to the door and then the door just swings open. So she pulls the gun upon seeing him, cocks it, and how fast a drawer could she be? He couldn't even get a chance to say, wait, this is my apartment, or wait, what do you want? What are you looking for? Because maybe he didn't even know she was in the wrong apartment. He might have thought that she was looking for him. What do you want? What are you here for? What's going on? Boom, you're dead. Trigger happy? Oh, yeah. Tanya Lofton writes, one of the neighbors said that they heard arguing right before shots were fired. In my opinion, says Tanya, I believe that they may have had an intimate relationship. Well, according to the people who knew him, including his mother and his sister, and you heard it from the attorney if you were here, we had the attorney on for a good 20 minutes of this broadcast today talking about that very issue, because I asked him, did they have a relationship? He said no one knew her. And typically he introduced his mom, because they were very close, he and his mother. So typically he would introduce his mom to anyone he was considering dating, and she was not one of those people. So I have to go with the facts, and the facts so far, unsupported by anything else, any other type of speculation, is that they didn't have a relationship. Shauna Moreau, Sharon Key. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sharon. That's why we try to bring the right people on so you can get the facts. This link is of a local woman covering that filmed the crime scene. Her name is Tiffany Lee Billions. Well, if you can get Tiffany Lee Billions to text me or get in touch with me or come to the show, Shauna, I'd appreciate it, because we'd love to hear from her and people like her who may have more intimate, close to the scene knowledge about this case. Because we're not going to stop. We're going to bring this case to our listeners around the world. This platform is the platform for a reason, and we want our listeners to know what's going on and let the world know that it's just that easy to be killed in America today if you're a black man. And people, you may say, well, why does he keep saying black man, black? Well, people of color are under siege in general. That is true. That is unquestioned. Whether you're a Native American, Latino, Asian, African American, as they like to call us, or any other African from any other country, like this young man who was killed. He wasn't African American, and he's just as dead. I say that because it is unquestionably us who are on that hit list at the top of the list. Yeah, you can get it too, for sure. If you're non-black, even some white folks are catching some of that hell. No question about that. But we know that the overwhelming majority of the people who catch all of this and more look like us. That's just facts. Believe me, we don't wish it to be true. We don't want it to be true, but it is true. So let's just deal with the facts. Black men in America would be killed for for nothing. This is as close to nothing as you can get. The killing of Botham Jean is as close. I mean, what else could you be doing? The only other thing I could think of is that she could kick his door in while he's asleep and never wakes up and just walks in and put a bullet in his head. That's the only other thing I could think of her doing, less than this. But what more could the man have done? What more law-abiding a citizen could he have been than this circumstance? He's home alone in his own apartment. Someone comes in, allegedly by mistake. He opens the door and he's murdered. My opinion. Marlon Campbell has joined us. Hey, Marley Marl, how are you, brother? Further, how are you, Further? Thank you. That's Kusuma Wadhani. Sharon Key. So she knew him and exactly what she intended to do. No evidence that she knew him, but I know she intended to do what she did. She definitely didn't shoot him by accident. You're absolutely right, Sharon. Ronaldo Capillon has joined us. Shauna, the last link is part of the crime scene. Great. I can't get to links right now on the air, but I can check it out afterwards. So that's great. And others can check it as well. Premeditated murder. That's what not premeditated, because premeditated murder would mean it went into some sort of scheme and plan to cause his death. I don't think she planned it. I just think it was her own foolishness and her biases and her preconceived perceptions of black men or black people in general that caused her to reach for that weapon and pull that trigger and kill him. That doesn't count as premeditated because it's not a plan. It's just like an ongoing mental state that many of these people who are on the police force are exhibiting. Amanda Bolta has joined us. Hi, Amanda. Tenya, he probably ended their relationship. No evidence of that. Shauna Moreau, yes, I can hear. Good morning. Oh, okay, cool. We have a lot of people on the check-in. Jackie Harris is with us. Barbara Harris is with us. Jackie and Barbara, you guys related? You guys joined up at the same time. Are Jackie and Barbara Harris related? I welcome you both. I know Barbara's a regular here, and I thank her for her wonderful input. Jackie, thank you for joining. James Hall is in the house. Shauna Moreau, we understand. Thank you, Stephan. My pleasure and my privilege. This is our show. This is not my show. This is about we, not about me. So all praise due to thee. This is the hour of power, our interactive, international, multiracial, multinational, multicultural broadcast and conversation where your thoughts, opinions, and ideas are exchanged and shared because it's about us. In too many media outlets, on television, radio, and otherwise, satellite radio, internet, our opinions are not heard. All you hear are, right-wing conservatism and thoughts and ideas that are not ours. So this is our platform to be heard. And guess what, good people? It's growing. And you can see now we're getting, in on serious cases when we need to, getting the key players in those cases. So, and I'm tapping people who I know from my profession, who I have relationships with, to come on the air and talk to us. So this is all interactive, and it's about you and about us as a community, coming together. And as Marsha from the law firm of Lee Merritt said, we as a people have to get together. And when I say we as a people, I'm talking about all people of goodwill, people of conscience, not the people who are out there savaging others, not the people who are out there killing like a Dylan Roof with wild abandon, with cold hearts, who don't give a damn about living among society and getting along with other fellow human beings. Not these people. I'm talking about the good people, fair-minded people who want to see the society grow. And that could be the Rainbow Coalition if one really ever existed. Channeling Jesse Jackson. Kimberly Slaughter joined us. Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for joining in. Marina Melnick, thank you. Ann Gonzalez Corbett, live and direct from Canada, North America, in the hizzy. Hi, Ann. How are you? Haven't seen you in a couple of shows. Glad you are back. You were probably traveling. If you were, let us know where you've been. Sheila Jenkins, unbelievable. Yes, Sheila. But that's what we're going to bring you. We're going to bring you the stories that you're not going to hear anywhere else. And I bet you didn't hear this anywhere else. This attorney Merritt who's representing the family of this murder victim. You don't hear him anywhere else. Nobody's calling him for his opinion to get the inside story. No. So this is your hour power, your show with the most, your main man with the master plan right here in the palm of my hand, bringing it to you raw, the way you asked it for. Okay, does that make sense? The way you asked me for? So this is your attorney at law, your attorney at war, the 5-star general in the war for justice, peace, and equality. All praise is due to God. Sharon Key should have taken weapon badge immediately upon investigation. Right, that typically what happens. I don't know why this lady is special, but I guess we'll start to learn who she knows or whose daughter she is or sister or family member or whatever, because we certainly are seeing that this case is not being handled typically. When the chief of police has a problem getting an arrest warrant, I mean, how do you get an arrest warrant, especially when the killer has admitted to killing, albeit accident or mistaken identity or mistake, whatever it was. She admitted she killed this guy. We have at least manslaughter because there's no evidence that he committed any crime that she was defending herself from. Sheila Jenkins, why is the person not in custody like you or I would be such a double standard? That's right. Absolutely, Jenkins, right, Sharon Key. Sabrina Lewis, good morning. Good morning, Sabrina Lewis. I'm glad you're joining us. And we definitely want to hear your input. Sharon Key, well, clear evidence they knew each other. Sharon, stop it. Cut it out, Sharon. You know I like you a lot, and I like how you participate and you put in a lot of good comments and input, but you heard the attorney say very clearly that they didn't know each other, and he investigated that angle, of course. That's the first thing a good attorney would do. You want to find out what the relationship is, if there is one, between the perpetrator and the victim. He checked. There is none. The perpetrator is saying there is none. The family of the victim is saying there is none. The person who actually investigated those issues says there is none. So Sharon, don't say there is one unless you have evidence. I mean, if you do, I'll get it to Attorney Merritt right away, and he can tell the victim's mom and sister that they were wrong and that you have provided some evidence that they knew each other. But the pictures on the internet apparently are doctored and faked. So, you know, and people can splice things together and make all kinds of stuff look real on the internet with a photograph. So we have to be aware and careful of that as well. But according to Attorney Merritt, who came on the air on this program moments ago, he said there is no relationship that was ever established, and he investigated that angle. So did the district attorney's office, I'm sure. Alavita Taz has joined us. Hi, Alavita. Yeah, Sharon Key by the picture, but the picture can be doctored. Sharon Key, okay, leave no stones unturned. Amen. Now that's what we're about, and that's why we do this show, and that's why we investigate and check things out and bring it to you. You know, I don't get information that I hide from you guys. I don't get information that I hold back or, you know, it's too sensitive to let you know. I go out there and I do my work and I do my homework, and I think I do it pretty well. And I know you guys definitely, you know, are smart and sharp and astute. I'm one person. But I know if I'm speaking to people in 178 countries from around the world, I better be on my P's and Q's, because at least one of y'all are going to catch up and say, no, Attorney James, now you done sold us the Brooklyn Bridge on that one. That's not true. That didn't happen. So I can't be giving you bad information. I always double check my sources and I dot my I's, I cross my T's. So when I give it to you, I give it to you raw, but I give it to you right. Okay, we got to be right at this show. And I want you to always know that I'm not going to throw anything out there without facts to support it. Amen. Shauna Morrow, thanks, Stephen. Make sure to check out the links I sent you. I will. Can you send it to me through Messenger, though? Because I don't, we have so many people right now on Facebook making comments. It might get lost in the shuffle of comments. But if you send it to me through Messenger, Shauna, I definitely will check the link. Thank you. If the tables were turned, oh my God. Oh, yeah. Remember Terry Martins? He's dead because he fought back against an attacker and the attacker was losing the fight. So he took out a pistol and killed Trayvon. And the jury said, good show, fair game. That's all right. Not guilty. All counts. Kathleen Bird, was his apartment placed at the same location as hers other than the floor difference? Apparently, they lived in the same line of apartments. Now, I heard the attorney say that she lived one floor below him. I heard reports that she lived one floor above him. So I'm not sure which one is actually correct. But they are living in the same line of apartments. So either one or the other was above and below. Okay? Sharon Key, wow, that's right. Shauna Moreau writes, Pamper, Amber, huh? Oh, yeah, no question about it. She's getting that princess treatment. She's getting that damsel in distress treatment. I'm sure they're going to say that she's needing psychological and all sorts of things once they take her gun. She's not going to say that now because she still has a weapon that she can use on the next person whose apartment she tries to break into. And, but she's not without a weapon as of right now, I'm being told. And that's scary. And that is really scary. Why didn't they, if she cursed out Chief Hall verbally, called her all kinds of N words and B words and this, that, and the third words, I'm sure they would take her weapon and fire her for insubordination, But you go kill a black man and you get paid leave. Even though you call the police yourself and admit what you did. Paid leave. What's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with this country? This is America with 3 Ks being made great again. Does any of this stuff feel like deja vu, if I may speak a little French? Deja vu all over again? Do we want to go back to the good old days? Well, buckle up, people, because you're taking a fast ride on a fast track right back to the good old days. Absolutely right, says Sharon Key. Thank you. Good point, Kathleen. Thank you so much. Shauna Moreau, get an attorney and still no truth. Absolutely ridiculous. I agree. And you heard from attorney himself say, he has to press the issue because he's not getting anywhere. The family's not getting the information that they're entitled to. We're not saying that the DA's office should hold a press conference and say strategy stuff and talk about things that are confidential that will, compromise the integrity of the investigation. No, nobody wants that. We want this lady prosecuted properly and to the fullest extent of the law. We don't want any so-called technicalities going on here that's going to help her side. However, the family is entitled to information. They're entitled to know. They're victims here. They're the victims. They're the people that the DA's office, the prosecution office, the county attorney's office, the city attorney's office, whatever title they call themselves in that particular jurisdiction, are paid to protect, are sworn under oath to protect. So why then does the family of the murder or the killing victim have to go out and hire their own private attorney? And that attorney is getting pushback from the district attorney's office, while the defendant is free to roam and has her gun and her paycheck. She'll show up next Friday for pay. Welcome to America, good people. I'm sure when that brother hopped that flight or that transport to come here from St. Lucia, he didn't know that he was going to be coming into this type of environment. I'm sure his mother would never have brought him. It makes no sense. She didn't even recognize him as her neighbor. BS, or is that bullshit by Shauna? Yeah, well, Shauna, as the attorney said, and I'm sure all of us here who've lived in apartment buildings, I live in one right now, high atop New York City, here in the penthouse. But when I descend in my elevator downstairs to the main floor, I pass a lot of floors. In fact, I pass every floor in the building. So I've met people in the elevator or waiting for the elevator in the lobby to come upstairs who I don't know their names. We don't exchange phone numbers. We don't exchange anything but niceties and, good morning, good day, how was your day? If you're waiting for the elevator for a period of time, you exchange niceties, If they have a pet with them, you may say, well, get that freaking pet off my leg or whatever. Or you may, how are you doing? How's the pet? Good looking, whatever. So you kind of pick up faces, who's who, just from passing. So you do have a point there, Shauna, in terms of living in the building. But he did say also, in all fairness, she only lived in the building for 2 months. Something that we didn't hear in the reports. We wouldn't have known had we not talked to Attorney Merritt. So, if you live in a building for 2 months, especially 2 months during the summer when people travel and take vacations, maybe they didn't know each other. Who knows? Family members, Pathaleen Bird says, family members don't tell family everything. He opened the door because he knew her. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you, but I just can tell you, Pathaleen, you're smart. You're very insightful. You put a lot of good posts out there. So I respect your mind and your research. But I spoke to the attorney who spoke to the mother and the sister. They didn't know her. And I know family members don't tell people everything. Sometimes they have secret lovers and all kinds of things going on. But somebody would have known her. Somebody at the job, even if the mother and sister didn't know, somebody who knew him would have known, or at least have seen them together at some point. Even neighbors, would have seen them go into his apartment or him going to her apartment at some point. No one has seen it. So unless there's a little bit more evidence of that other than the fact that she killed him, and it made no sense, her story of why she killed him, of course that makes no sense to you, Pathaleen, or no one else listening. That's why they're investigating. Even the police are saying this sounds so, it's so reckless and stupid that there has to be more to it. So I understand where you're coming from. But guess what? This is America in 2018. This type of killing of a black man is absolutely possible. In fact, I believe it happened the way she said it. Good show. Thanks for the invite. My pleasure and my privilege to have you aboard. And I hope you stay, Pathaleen, and keep the good comments coming. We thank you and appreciate you for it. Once again, good people, this is the Hour of Power with your host with the most, attorney at war, attorney at law, the 5-star general in the war for truth, justice, and equality, Stephen G. James, at your service, your Maine made man, the professional with the master plan in the palm of his hand. Thank you. Sabrina Lewis, good morning. We're going to try to get to everybody. Carmen Seguin Barnes, howling back from California. No, from Las Vegas. You made that clear yesterday, Carmen. From Las Vegas, from nearby the Bellagio Hotel, one of my favorites out there on the Strip. How are you? All the very best to BS and to his mom, your mom-in-law. Hope you guys are listening and enjoying the show. I hope it's informative. This is the Hour of Power. Those of you who are just joining us, we had called a emergency or show because we are so committed and we realize the importance of the topic of this particular program and this issue. So we decided to, because of the fast developing facts and circumstances of the case, we didn't want to wait until next Saturday to bring you the updates. And there was a lot of speculation. She knew him. They were lovers. He was trying to break off with her. She shot him because of that. Or all kinds of stuff. Some people have said it was a hit and she was the hitman. I even heard that from a few places. So there's been a lot of wild speculation. So I didn't want to wait a whole week and let our audience, our good people in 178 countries around the world, and just about every state in this union of the United States and Canada, go without clarification. So what did I do? I reached out to the attorney for the family, Brother Merritt. His name is S. Lee Merritt. He is the attorney representing the mother and sister and family of the victim in this case, Mr. Botham Jean. And he came on. He spoke to us for about 20, 30 minutes, and he basically cleared up a lot of the speculation and innuendo and falsities, including that they didn't know each other. There are photos circulating of her and him in the same picture, but somebody must have doctored those pictures together, according to the attorney, because his investigation revealed that they're not known to one another. They weren't lovers or anything like that. That's the DA's information at this time, and that's also the family's information. So unless someone has some other information, and I do understand, as Sharon and others have said, that sometimes family members don't tell you everything, and that is the truth. I think Pathaleen said that as well. Unless you have some empirical data, we have to go with the facts are showing until you have other facts to show us differently. Okay? So that's why we had to call this show today. It's just too many developments happening too fast to wait a week to bring it to you. So here we are on a Sunday at about 11:24 Eastern Standard Time. For those like Carmen calling in from Las Vegas, which is on Pacific time, it's 8:24. So thank you. You're up early on a Sunday, and I appreciate it. But we're giving it to you raw because that's what you asked me for. Okay. So we had the attorney on for about 20 minutes, dropping science and clarifying some of the misperceptions. Absolutely. I got you, Stefan. Praise God. Thank you. Omalu Lifer, thank you for joining in. Sharon Key, great discussions. Thank you very much. Shauna, hopefully that's her last paycheck and goes into her commissary. We need that county jumpsuit on her ASAP. Just absolutely unbelievable. I agree. Now you're dropping major science, Shauna Morrow. Why isn't she in an orange jumpsuit or a gray one or a green one or a blue one or a white one, depending on the county? Why? Why is she still collecting a paycheck from taxpayer dollars? Why? Why are they paying this woman? Why does she still have a weapon? You heard the attorney say they may have confiscated her service weapon that she used to kill Mr. Jean, but they usually hand them a revolver or some sort of weapon to carry around in case they have to take police action while their weapon is being used as evidence. That's scary. That this woman is still walking around free. That's outrageous and angering in and of itself. But it's also scary that she has a weapon and she still has police powers, which means she can kill you or me whenever she feels like it, basically, because that's what she did here. And she didn't get arrested. And 2 police agencies interviewed her, we're told. Both Chief Hall's best detectives in the world squad and her best trained police officers let her go. Then the Texas Rangers came into the matter. That's the statewide law enforcement. They interviewed her all day yesterday while Chief Hall told us she didn't know where this girl was at all, which was a lie. And I called her out on it. And we found out that they had her in their custody. They were questioning her all day. That's a quote, all day yesterday. And guess what? At the end of the questioning, guess what happened? Out the door. She went back home. Maybe she's at the beach today. Who knows? Getting that last breeze of summer in, getting those last tan lines worked on, because we know that she's not in jail. That's one thing we do know. She is not in jail. She has not been charged with anything. She has not been arrested. 2 police agencies can't figure out an arrest in this case. Sharon Key writes, laugh out loud. So yeah, good people, keep the comments coming. I appreciate them. It's very insightful. Again, we had attorney Merritt on, who's representing the family of the victim in this case, Mr. Botham Jean, Jean, who is an immigrant here in this country from the island of St. Lucia. And he was an analyst at Price Waterhouse and Finner, an investment bank and accounting firm based in Dallas, apparently. He was gainfully employed. I showed you guys some of the video. I showed you some of the video of the killer immediately after she shot Mr. Jean and realized her so-called mistake. I showed you some photographs of him at work and with friends and at play. And, I think I even showed you some of the press conference that the mother gave, the impassioned speech, if you will, or impassioned interview she gave to the press regarding her son and the need for justice. And she's asking the same questions that you and I are asking, which basically are, why is this woman out? Why did she do this to her son? What's going to happen? Are we going to get justice or not? Why do we have to fight for the same justice that everyone else get automatically? So, these are the things that are out there, good people. And as this story develops, and if anything major develops, then I will call another emergency broadcast and let you guys know about it. I'm going to do my part, and please do yours. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a family member that the Hour of Power, your show, not my show, your show, is on the air Saturdays from 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday, giving it to you live and direct, and not the way we want it to be, but like it is, okay? And if you like what we're doing, just tell a friend. Yes, we are a show that is in its infancy, but we are growing. We've been around for several months now. And if you guys missed any of our previous shows, you can go to the website, stephangjames.com, and see all of our recent past broadcasts. At least 3 months worth of broadcasts are on our website. So you have today's show and maybe 12 other shows behind today. stephangjames.com, STEPHEN, middle initial GJAMES, all the letters run together, stephangjames.com. And you can look at some of our previous broadcasts. We talk about issues and matters of concern to our community. And I've already defined what our community is: like-minded, fair-minded, justice seekers who are tired of hearing about the same 3 or 4 stories that outlets like CNN, MSNBC, and others keep bringing you over and over and over and over and over, as though it's on a replay reel, and they never talk about anything else. You know, they're all talking about the same exact thing: Donald Trump, the Mueller investigation, and which is the latest of Trump's cronies to get convicted and given a handshake and a lollipop as a sentence. Like this last guy, Papadopoulos, who's going to do, 14 days? I know people sitting in, no, not my clients, of course, but I've heard of people sitting in county jail, for years. Look at Browder in Rikers Island. This young boy was 16 years old, accused of taking someone's knapsack at school. And he sat in Rikers for 3 years and went through all kinds of hell. And then the charges were dropped. So he was not guilty of anything, never was. But it damaged him so much, those 3 years in Rikers, that he eventually committed suicide upon release. Changed his mental state forever. And he couldn't deal with life after that. And all the things that he had underwent and undergone and went through while in Rikers, waiting for justice, not guilty. And this guy was convicted, this Papadopoulos was convicted of lying to the FBI, a crime punishable for each offense to up to 5 years in federal prison. They want to discourage that sort of behavior. So 5 years in federal prison for each offense of lying to the FBI. Well, this guy was convicted of lying a number of times, facing all kinds of years in federal prison. And Mueller said that his lies were so devastating to the investigation that it torpedoed a lot of the evidence and information that they were gathering regarding the Russian meddling investigation. And he gets 14 days. That was his sentence. 14 days, 1-4. And I guess he can show it whenever he wants. Maybe he'll do it one day every a week, stop in, say hi, and leave, and do that for 14 times, and then he's done. Because he's not in jail, not today, even though he's been sentenced to whoop-de-dooey 14 days. People who may get arrested and they don't even see a judge for 14 days because they get lost in the system in processing. And this is a convicted federal felon, and he gets 14 days. And you're supposed to believe that this is a fair and just system, that justice is blind? Well, that's why I'm the foot general, the 5-star foot general in the war for justice and equality, for peace and fairness in our system. That's why I'm your attorney at law, who is an attorney at war. Stephen G. James, your man of the hour, the one with the power. He who is too sweet to be sour. Never forget your man with the master plan in the palm of his hand. Right here every Saturday from 12 on your broadcast and mine, The Hour of Power, where we speak truth to power for real. That's not just a figure of speech or a slogan, but that is a true thing that we do. Amen. May God continue to bless you and keep you and protect you as we meet again next Saturday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Uh-oh, y'all don't want me to leave. Still talking, huh? Okay, I'll drop that science as long as you keep feeding me the bait. Shauna writes, so she's not being charged with manslaughter. I thought they said that, but the gun, the badge, there's no honor among it. It might as well just hand out to criminals. Well, we know that she's a criminal, but she's a criminal who's not being charged. That's absolutely correct. He will do his 14 days at his convenience. Right. So I think he can check in whenever he feels like it. Maybe go over there at lunchtime, spend lunchtime with them, and then go back about his business and come every day and do that for 14 days. Only 14 days collusion. Can you imagine? That's why we have you, Stephen James. All praise is due to God. Yes, ma'am. As long as God gives me the strength and the wherewithal and good people like you who inspire me every day, I will be here fighting for you. I've been doing this for over 30 years. And when it begins to show is when I know it's time for me to go. But as long as I have the strength and agility and ability to fight this monster back and to beat these savages at their own game, I'm here for you. All praise is due to God. Sharon Key, yep. Yeah, his time was a joke. But anyway, good people, we have been here for an hour and a half. If there's no more questions or no more answers, because we definitely take answers here too, then I will sign off on this emergency meeting of the Hour of Power. I am so grateful to you all for joining me today. I know that this is not our normal day. This is not our normal time. But here you are nonetheless on your Sunday morning. Thank you. And I thank you again. I do not take you for granted. I respect, admire, and appreciate each and every one of our listeners from around the world, our people who join in the conversation, because we have many, many people who we can monitor to know where they're listening from, but they're not always necessarily checking in or being seen on the scrolls. So while you may not see them, I can see that we have people watching and monitoring and listening to our conversation from around the world. And we respect and appreciate each and every one of you. Every week, our listenership of this broadcast grows and grows. And I have all of you good people to thank for that. So as long as there's you, there'll be me, because without you, there is no me. It's all about we. And I don't speak French, so you know I mean W-E. All praise is due to God. And I thank him, the Most High, for you. May God continue to bless you and to protect you and keep you until we get together again, same time, 12 o'clock next Saturday. Stay safe, stay alive, and God bless. Amen.